Now the question is, the name of God given to different messengers and different prophets and different saints and different fuqara, what was the potency of that name? According to the Quran, God's name does not enter into some hearts. And the reason why God's name does not penetrate into those hearts is because these hearts are very hard, harder than stones in some cases. So an effort was made to raise awareness of what God had already said in the Holy Quran regarding the mountains. On one occasion, God said that He wanted to descend His name upon the mountains, and the mountains replied that they would not be capable of such a spiritual burden upon them. And had it been descent on them, the mountains would be crushed into zillions of pieces. And this is how powerful God's name is. Now the question was yesterday, if God's name is so powerful that even the mountains were not capable of absorbing the grandeur of the divine name, how come a human heart, which has been regarded as a piece of stone, can escape the grandeur of God's name? That was the point. It was disturbing, and at the same time, it was not up to the standard of the divine name. Like on one hand, the divine name is so capable of crushing the entire mountains into thousands of pieces. But when it comes to a human heart, that human heart has been exemplified by a piece of stone, yet the divine name is not able to penetrate in these hearts. So a thought would come to a just mind, is hardness of your heart greater than God's name? Because we find out from Quran, God is absolute power. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. God is able to do anything. Okay, if God is able to do anything, does it mean God's name is separated from His essence, and the name of God doesn't have the same qualities as His essence does? Obviously, it will have the same power even in the name of God. But the point that was made yesterday was that not everybody was granted God's name in its fullest meaning. Not every name, Isme Zat Allah, was saturated, that was granted to people. It's about saturation. It depends how saturated God's name is, which is spiritually transmitted to you, either by your prophet or somebody that was appointed by the prophet. But unfortunately, there has not been a scale upon which you could weigh or even scrutinize the quality of God's name and the standard of God's name. Now, we all remember that even the stones have a soul. Now, the question is, if a human heart is like a stone, it will still have a soul. So does it mean that soul of the stone is so powerful that God's name is not allowed to enter into that heart? Does it make any sense to you? It has a soul. Every stone has a soul. What is it? It's so hard. And it's in the Quran. The Quran said, Surah Al-Ahzab, Inna aradna al-amanata ala samawati wal-ard wal-jibali فَأَبَيْنَ أَن يَحْمِلْنَهَا وَأَشْفَقْنَ مِنْهَا وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُولًا. If it was descended upon the mountains, they would erupt. وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ, but man was able to hold it. إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُولًا, because man was in deep darkness. This was the question. Now, if you simply accept that yes, some hearts are so dark, even God's name is not going to work. I think in a way you are subduing the standard of God's name. In a way it is insulting and challenging to the authority of God's name. It shows that God's name is not so powerful. There are souls, there are hearts that will completely diffuse the glorifying effects of God's name. But that's not the case. It is total disrespect to God's power, to God's authority. Now the thing is that God's name is of different qualities, and it depends how saturated God's name is. For example, it's like a bottle. Even if it's half full, it's still a bottle of water. Even when there is only a quarter water in it, you'll still call bottle of water. But in order to quench your thirst, if the bottle is only a quarter of water in it, maybe you will need 4 of the bottles. But if the bottle is full, maybe one will do the job. Now the question is, the name of God given to different messengers and different prophets and different saints and different fuqara, what was the potency of that name? How potent? I mean, you can raise a slogan that I have the key of Isme Zat and I am this holy, I am that holy. But could you tell the world how potent is Isme Zat given to you in comparison to the Isme Zat Gohar Shahi is giving away like sweet candies? And then how many different types of souls will this Isme Zat cover? Because we know there is a soul in stones, there is a set of souls in trees, and then there are souls in animals. And all these souls are known as earthly souls, terrestrial souls, arzi arwa. And then when it comes to humans are given extra bit of souls, and they are called celestial souls. They have all these souls that everything else in this world has. And in addition to these terrestrial souls, humans are granted by God some celestial souls. Now the question is, the name of God given to you, is it capable to cater the needs of every single organ in your body? Every single soul present in your body? If not, it is less saturated. His Holiness Gohar Shahi has brought about a type of Isme Zat Allah which has never been introduced before in this universe. And this Isme Zat Allah that His Holiness Gohar Shahi has granted will fit every single soul, whether it's terrestrial or celestial. Whether it strikes against a stone or a tree or an animal or a human soul or a soul from Alam Malakut or a soul from Ankabut or a soul from Jabarut or a soul from Wahdat or Ahdiyat, Lahut, Hahut, Hahuhiyat. This Isme Zat is completely saturated. This is why it can cover all types of recipients, whether they are practicing or non-practicing, whether they are dark or less dark, whether they are educated or uneducated, whether they are Muslims or Christians or Hindus or Sikhs, or even if they don't believe in any religion, whether the hearts are even harder than the mountains, whether the souls are even more misguided than the animals. Because this name is as powerful as God's essence is. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Because this name of God comes from His throne. This name of God does not come from Tifle Nuri, the one that Imam Mehdi Sarkar Gohar Shahi is giving away to people, is the name, the original name of God, which was only shining on His forehead, which was a part of His crown. Now it is part of your heart. In a way, your heart has been coronated with the crown of God.